Hello guys, my name is Rafaliman, and welcome to the kind of not behind the scenes, but more like a recap of Train. And we're just going to be looking through all three episodes of Train with special guest here, Kai. Say hi.
Hey, this is good for me because I really want an exclamation because I was here for the last part and I had no clue what was going on. Like, I was really confused. So this is good.
Alright, first flashback, we find a tricycle. The first cart, there was tons of toys. Tricycle flashback happens. Appear to be in an apartment where I walk into a room with a tricycle with a pink ribbon on it, assuming it was for a little boy, because there was a little boy talking in the background. Um, Here, let me play that part as you guys can hear. So let's be quiet and you guys can hear it very quickly. Music kind of sad. So as you guys heard there was a little boy in the background speaking Russian. Seemed to be very happy about his little trike, and I would assume that the kid died on the train, possibly because later we find a ghost in the second cart sitting on the one of the chairs, or a little girl, and she's very freaky. You still there, Kai?
Yeah, but I thought it was a grandson.
Well, when it begins, you appear to be a dad.
Uh-huh.
Um, family portraits,
Oh, so like it
toys.
could be like a son, maybe?
It could be,
And then
actually,
there's a son and there's a grandson,
possibly.
two separate, people. Or like a granddaughter and a grandson, or I mean a granddaughter and a son, or like a daughter and a granddaughter. Like it could go many ways.
Many, many ways. But that's what I thought at first. But as we go deeper, it'll become more clear. So as we get into a third cart, fourth cart, we find a room full of ghost kids. They're just running around being playful. So obviously there has been kids on the train that have died, maybe, and they're just kind of stuck there. So as we keep going, we have another flashback, and you there's a crack in a door. You peek inside. You hear the father or a man yelling, and you hear things breaking, clacking everywhere. And you hear a little girl start crying. I'm gonna play that scene right here, guys, and you guys can hear this. No.
Сука, смотри на меня, когда я с тобой говорю. Я ведь не спрашиваю тебя, где ты шляешься по вечерам.
All right. So as you guys saw there was yelling and argument. Well, not really an argument, but the man yelling, plates cracking, something breaking, and a little girl crying. And as that fades, we end up walking down the stairs, and that's where the flashback ends. And then I stop it, and we come to a cart filled with regular alive people. So that's
Scary.
kind of the kind of turning point of this. So this was part one. I'll pause it and bring up episode two, and we'll be right back. I cannot pause it, actually. That is actually sad. Yeah. So I guess I'm just gonna come over here, bring up part three right here. There we go. So we're back with part three, and so we're about to head inside. We discover that there are normal people, little boy, a woman, men. It's just normal people. I believe they're normal people. And as we pass by one man, they all turn into mannequins, which I would think is just a jump scare, and this has nothing to do with the story whatsoever. So I'm just gonna skip this part. We bash some heads. All right, here's the flashback I've been looking for. So we head into a room all draped up, destroyed, chairs moved everywhere. Flashback happens, and we come into a subway. You seem dazed. You seem like you've just gotten up, or you're drunk. I walk forward. There's normal people, man on a guitar. You find a man bullying a girl. You interfere with the man. You get beat up. Which I think was kind of sad. And then it takes you to a club with this specific girl that you've been trying to defend off and ended up getting beat up by the guy. So as it goes on, it goes on for a couple minutes. You come to like. So I'm trying to see what happens here. You're back in the subway. More dazed than you were last. You hear screaming.
What's going on? I can't see anything.
As you can see here.
Ew, whoa. Oh, am I drunk?
Yes, you hear screaming, and as you pass by, everything goes black. The setting just immediately changes to depression and darkness and supposedly death. So as we walk through, we find a gun, and I go nuts with it. I just start shooting like crazy, but it says the ammunition may be useful. So as I walk around, trails of blood, debris, everything, barely any lighting at all. And we find these. Let me pause at a frame where I see one of these faces that are drawn on the walls, which could be something or someone, like Slender right here. Oops, right there. You see the face on the right side. You can see like a little bald man, very long face, like squash, and a big open mouth with like no eyes whatsoever. It's
Oh,
kinda
that's kind of like the Scream. The description you gave kind of reminds me of the Scream guy.
Yeah, it kind of does, yeah. I thought it was, but it's really not. So we open a door. We hear a little girl. As you walk down the stairs. We still have the gun in hand. And we kind of walk through. We see a ghost shadow. I wonder what it is. We walk forward. We see that drawing again in this hallway. And we keep on going, and we eventually come to a door. Which I think there's one more door. Oh, I shoot the lock. Because I was smart. So I shot the lock. And I'm going to fast forward here. So we come to the end door. I believe this is the end door. Indeed. And you see a ghost girl coming towards you. And what you do is you take the gun and you shoot yourself. That's what happens. As you can see there, I shot myself. And that's when the flashback ends. And then it puts you in a bank robbery.
I am so confused.
I'm so confused too. So this took a while to happen. It took me a while to get through it. So you're in the bank robbery. You guys escape. Your friend wants to kill somebody, but you don't let him kill him. And then you're on a train with prisoners, and you're trying not. And so you know that there's obviously prisoners on this train as well. So that kind of leads to maybe why you're dead and why the train is so messed up and wrecked. Maybe it was a prison outbreak. Because after you get through those prisoners, it takes you to a prison. And you're in a cell. And you hear just misery. Just everything is so miserable. Other than me bobbing my head up and down for some reason. And it's just, it kind of gives us the feeling that maybe the prisoners had something to do with the train wreck. If it was a train wreck. Which I assume it was because of everything that's been going on. Alright, so
That's
that is
weird.
the end of part 2. And then we're going to watch one more. Oh, well, I can't do that actually because I forgot to take off the folder. But I remember what happened in part 3. So what happened in part 3, you guys can just, for now, watch a little sneak peek of part 4 of our little survival thing, I guess. And, so what happens in part 3 is we travel through the train. You discover the train becomes more unstable, and it takes you to where it goes underwater. And in the part where you guys saw where the water just started to turn red and everything, that I have no explanation for. Maybe, well, Kai, I don't think you would really know either, because
Wait, say that again?
So we're walking through the train. You're introduced to the train being somewhat underwater, being somewhat submersed, and then you come to
Mm-hmm.
one cart specifically that the windows break and just start gushing out red water, which I have no explanation for unless you do.
Well, it depends where was the cart placed. Um, if like say in an earlier scene, a certain person or something was placed in that like same cart, maybe it had to do with like the sorrow or whatever. You know what I mean? Metaphors.
Ah, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
So like
And
death and
yeah, and
despair,
sadness
yeah.
and yeah.
Okay.
Or it might just be, a random window breaking out blood.
Just for the
Um,
scare.
yes, and but this horror game I've noticed that you've been playing has a lot of metaphors, I feel. Like metaphorical
Yeah.
meaning, symbolic
Symbolic meaning.
symbolic
Yeah,
meaning.
that's more right.
Yeah. So yeah.
All right. So what happened after I got through after like 15 million attempts? You flashback happens. You're in a hallway, drunk, I would think, because you can't walk straight at all. You're wobbling everywhere. You just can't. You're banging into walls, and there's
Yeah, probably drunk.
yeah, and there's chairs on the ceiling and on the sides of the walls as you're walking, and shadows running across your screen. Like
Hallucination.
I don't know, but I heard, if I remember, believe there was screaming and, frantic cries, so probably running away from something, probably leading back to that drawing we saw back in the subway. But after we get to the end, after all of this chaos that's just been happening, it's just a random scream happens. I probably should not have turned around because maybe there was something behind that door that would have been key to what we're talking about right now that I didn't see.
Yeah, it didn't it mention something about not looking behind you.
No, it didn't. But
I thought at one point it did.
no, I don't believe so. But probably something behind that door is something that I missed. That could have been like real helpful to this. So I apologize for that. Maybe I can go play back through that. Maybe that's probably what I'll do. Then I'll see what's on the other side of that door.
Yeah. Maybe we just have to. I mean,
Yeah.
see like what's there.
Yeah, we're probably gonna have to end up doing that actually.
Yeah.
Alright, and then after that, you're back on the train. Oh, you know what? We forgot about the most important part before all this. You flash back to a forest, and you're in the graveyard.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So, I read the note saying, "Don't feel sorry, just keep pushing on and forget about everything," or something. It was something like that. And as you look up, you see a grave with a woman on it and flowers. I would assume that's his wife.
Yeah, probably his wife. Or like if we mentioned before like his daughter
Oh,
or
or that little
something.
girl that we saw on the train in the beginning.
Or and then she grew up,
Ah.
who knows? It's a big, question.
So we know this guy is either a dad or a grandfather,
Or
or
both.
both. Yeah. And we know people have died.
Yes. People have died.
But the
There's
big
uh
question is if he's dead. Like how what are we playing through? Are we playing through as him alive? Is he just passed out and imagining what he's been seeing?
maybe it's after his
Is
death.
it paranormal activity? You never
Maybe
know.
it's
I mean, it just doesn't
yeah.
give us enough information.
Is it like maybe it's like kind of just the spirit, I guess, of all of them,
It could, I don't know, like some demonic thing.
Yeah. Um, yeah. That is a big question. There's a lot of questions in this game.
Yeah, but you'll understand it more if you play it.
Yeah.
Alright, so as we keep going on, there's a. So we passed the hallway. Now we're on to after the hallway. There's, I believe, no more flashbacks after that. No, there was. You're in a car. You're driving through the city. You look in the mirror. You're a man with glasses, bald, totally not like the guy I saw in the picture in the beginning. So that makes me think, am I a different person now?
Or maybe it's just in the future, like older, or maybe that picture was from the past.
Oh, maybe. But there also was another man in the car. That could have also been me. Because this man got into a car accident. The car was on fire. He grabbed out the other man, who actually kind of looked like someone similar. So I probably might have seen that person already, somewhere along the storyline or in that portrait.
Yeah.
But later this guy passes out by the flaming taxi, and it goes back to the train. So once you're back on the train, another flashback happens. Actually, you plane through the train. You are on the edge of a train, and you come to a pit. Like, the train is hanging over this big pit of fire or lava at the bottom. I have no clue. It's just a very demonic looking pit. And what happens in the flashback is you're an old man on the train. Actually, this is after you fall in the pit. You're an old man. You're walking through on a bridge. It's raining. It's in the middle of the night. You're looking at these train tracks, and you keep looking back and forth from the city to the train tracks, probably wondering, is this the right thing to do? Do I want to do this? It's a little bit of doubt in there. And as it keeps going, time passes by, you hear a train whistle, you see the lights of the train. As the train gets closer, you get a little higher, signaling you probably went up on the bars. After that, you fall, the train comes, black, and then the credits.
So, who knows? Maybe the train has symbolic meaning? I don't know.
Maybe, like...
You never know. Maybe the train was, like, his life. Like, it's just showing his life.
Well, what I read from the gaming description was it was an hour gameplay, about an hour gameplay, of reliving a man's life on a train. So yeah,
maybe like it's just his whole life represented into this train.
But like, what doesn't make sense is like the taxi, the grave also doesn't make sense. It might make sense to you, it doesn't make sense to me. The prison doesn't make sense. It's just, if we're reliving a life of a man that was on a train, how does all of this tie in together? It just doesn't quite make sense.
Well, when I think of like a whole like showing his life but on a train, I kind of think of it's kind of weird. I think of what's that sound? It's like, I'm going off the rails on a crazy train. I think of that song.
So you think he's crazy?
In that song. No. But like, I mean, if like the train is, I don't know. I think like maybe the train is representing his life. I mean,
well, yeah, a train goes and stops eventually.
It does stop eventually, yeah.
But then it restarts again. So, actually,
maybe we're thinking too hard.
Yeah, maybe we are thinking too far out of the box. But okay, I'm gonna make a conclusion here, and then you're gonna make a conclusion, and then we're just gonna end it there because none of us will really never ever know what this story is about. So here's my thesis. So you're dead, right? You are because you don't immediately die. Like your brain doesn't immediately die, so you're
Mhm.
technically your brain is still active for a little bit. So what I'm thinking is
Yeah.
before his death, his brain is replaying everything in his mind that he remembers. Not exactly everything in his life that happened, but those brief moments before his death is what his brain is replaying. So as you're on the train, you're walking in brief darkness. The train is like all messed up and ugly. It's abandoned, and so I guess this is the part after his death. Um, and as you keep walking forward, the real people come into play, which is probably when he was still alive. So it's kind of like you're dead first, and you're seeing what happened after your death, and you come back and reliving what happened before and how it all started. So as everything is going on, you're learning about how everything has come to. You're a father, so you're remembering your kids and your wife, going back to jumping to the grave and the first flashback in the beginning. As you age, as the train moves on, and as you progress through the carts, you're aging as you go. And you've probably done some bad things in your life, which led to the prison, saying you might have been a prisoner, or karma, you've done a bad thing, this is what you get in return. You're trapped, basically. Maybe he's a ghost and he's trapped down here. You can't do anything about it. Like all the paranormal activity things that everybody says is real, but it's really not. And as you're done with the prison, you head into... Oh, what do you head into? Can't remember what you head into. The taxi? Oh. Well, in conclusion, I think you're just a man. You're reliving everything you've ever known. Your brain is replaying everything that you slightly remember from time to time. And after all of your misery and your pain, this is how you ended it. You know, the old man.
Mhm.
Maybe everybody in his life died. He had no reason to live. He just wanted it all to end. And that's what he ended up doing in the end.
So yeah, I think my conclusion is similar. Like, so he died, and the whole thing about the brain still being conscious. Yeah, so he's probably reliving his life, kind of flashbacking, looking at the highlights of his horrible life. And so but he's gonna relive this life with the train, and the train is actually what he used to end his life.
Yeah.
So maybe that ties in, the reason he's reliving his life with the train is because he died, getting hit by the train and stuff. So yeah, I think the train, he's just going down, living his life and stuff, and once in a while just looking back at this and stuff in the train, he's having flashbacks, remembering, oh yeah, this happened and stuff, and the whole karma thing. You're right. And so I think when it said, when you had that note saying don't look at the past, forget the past and stuff. So how you're going down the hallway of the train and stuff. Remember when you turned around and looked back, and then the scream happened. Maybe that was really tied in together. Don't look back into the past. Who knows? Maybe this game had more than one path. I don't think so.
So you're saying the hallway represents the past, kind of.
So looking back. So is the past, and then it said don't look back and stuff. Forget about it, and you had turned around, and what happened?
Yeah.
And so, and the final thing is he's reliving that last moment when he jumps off the train and stuff. jumps off the bridge onto the train and
All
stuff.
right.
Because of all the pain he's caused, and he probably like I don't know, probably his family,
Yeah.
wasn't so hard. Who knows? He might have been like the last of his family and stuff.
Mm.
Because everyone died,
There's no reason to live without family.
Yeah.
So overall,
So
we think that he's just flashing back his life on this miserable train,
yeah, it was god awful
living
train
through all of the deaths of his loved ones or the people he knew, the bad things he's done,
that he loved. Yeah.
and in the end, he paid for it. Honestly.
Yeah, he did.
So thank you for watching, guys. This was actually a pretty long talk about this game, but it's
Yeah, well, you really need to put
yeah.
thought
I
into
mean, it's
this.
not just
I
like a
mean,
1, 2, 3 kind of thing. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. And this might have been boring for you. If not, if you stuck through this, appreciate it. You're a strong person. You can deal
Yeah.
with us. And thanks for watching once again. Be sure to sub to both of us, King Killer Kai, Legit Victorious, and Falling Man. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye.